here from NFL Red Zone. I hope you're checking out 1 hour of 5 Yard Rush, one of the best podcasts on NFL football in the UK.
What an awful start. Sorry for the technical difficulties there. Was mid-flow, realised the mic was muted, but that's fine. Welcome. It is late July. It's almost August. Fantasy drafts are in full swing, especially charity season. Scott Fishbowl. We've got Battle of the Sexes. FFCC kicks off next week. JTT's on the move. So many drafts at the moment. Now we're getting ready for regular season. So we're doing a mock draft tonight, and we're going to do something a bit different. But first of all, we're going to say hi to Danny. Danny, how is things?
Yeah, all good. I've got drafts coming on my ears at the moment. It feels like all these different formats. So just trying to, keep on top of them all, really. I think we've got another 3 starting tomorrow. So, King's Classic, the Towers League tomorrow, loads. So it's going to be a busy few weeks. There's
a lot going on, and it's time to start studying and sharpening the pencils. And so tonight we're going to do something a little bit different. We are going to do a 14-team 1QB mock draft, and we're going to do it on a different platform. Those who know me well enough know that I don't not Sleeper's biggest fan. So I think there's better ways of doing things. So we brought someone along who's an incredibly smart human being, someone I had the pleasure of sitting next to and drafting and stealing ideas off in my Scott Fishbowl draft in Dublin. He is the creator of the wonderful Tradyr app that we've been talking about in great detail. It's Eric Nelson. Eric, welcome to 5 Yard Rush. How are you, my man?
Hey guys, I'm good. Thanks for having me. That was a great intro. I don't think I can live up to those kind words, but it's good to be here. It was also a pleasure to sit beside you at the SFB draft in Dublin as well. So
no, it's been awesome getting to know you over the period, and again, you've built something absolutely incredible. So we are going to use the tool a little bit, but why don't we, just as we're getting set up, we've got to set the scene for tonight. We are going to do a 14-team mock draft. We've got people waiting to draft on the Tradyr platform, so it is going to look a little different, but it's going to be a lot of fun too. Just while we're just getting the final person in seat, why don't we talk a little bit around the Tradyr app and what was the idea for it, where did it come from, what are some of the features of it? We're going to talk a little bit more about it as we go through the evening, but let's just have a little bit of a pre-start to it, and then we're going to get this draft started.
Sure. So the idea came back in, I want to say it was around October of 2025. I was sitting there Sunday evening. I poured hours and hours into checking my many rosters across different platforms, signing into all of my different accounts to get different types of content, different stats, checking injury information, checking personnel schemes to see, is CeeDee Lamb going to be better this week versus, Justin Jefferson or whatever, and trying to make lineup decisions. I've got 2 young kids. Okay. They demand my attention. My attention slips towards fantasy football in the fantasy season. I'm very passionate about fantasy football in the NFL, and it wasn't really fair to them. But at the same time, it wasn't fair to the leagues that I either commish or that I'm part of, because I'm either in or I'm not. I don't like, being half in a league and half out of a league. So with that in mind, I said something has to change here. I was also pumping about $240 a month into different fantasy sites for content, which was great. I loved the content and stuff, and hence I paid for it. But I reckoned that I could probably get most of that information myself with a bit of extra effort up front. And I wanted to transport my brain and my fantasy process into a tool so it would do the thinking for me. I can manage my leagues 5 minutes per league or less a week. So I created Tradyr. At first, it was just it was like one of those league analyzers. Okay, I put my username in. It showed me all of my leagues, gave me all of the information, but it showed me the things that I want to see, the things I would do. I'd spend hours trawling through rosters of teams in my league to see, okay, where are they strong, where are they weak. I have it all written down in notebooks that I was running off to know the tells of all of my different league mates and stuff. I was then using other sites like Sleeper Stalker and stuff to find out other leagues that my league mates were in that I wasn't in, to figure out which players they liked and had. So I was going deep into this thing. And so I decided I could just build something, pull all of that process together, and I can see it really quickly. So that was initially Tradyr. Then I started talking to people about it. Like, oh, it'd be great if it had this. It'd be great if it had that. It'd be great. And it kind of snowballed. So it went from being one tool just for me to something I shared with my league mates to something now that has 58 different tools that you can use. It has stuff for NFL odds. It's got prediction market stuff baked in because that's all signal to make a fantasy decision. It has an entire injury database. You can see every injury that's happened to somebody in the NFL, how long they've stayed out for, what the general return time is, who the best injury analysts are, who, it's yeah, take a look. It's got way too much that I could even talk about, but we'll dive into some of it. You'll see it in the app. And then
Eric, there's one thing that jumped out to me was the flexibility of it. So I'd see something and I'd ping it and say, what do you think about this? 10 minutes later, the message would come back. It's in there now. The way you built it is you've been able to like just jump and do things as like Murph's always got loads of ideas as well. As I'd like to know this, and normally it takes me ages to do X, Y, and Z. Next thing, it's in there, and it's like it's very flexible in that way.
And that's by design. So it's built like a Lego. It's built from Lego. So each block is already pre-made, and I have them, and they're serving different functions. And generally, I've thought about pretty much everything. It's just a case of putting a different lens on it. So all I have to do is copy the component from here, and it plugs and plays into a different place. And so that was when you asked me the specific question. It was around, I've got multiple different drafts going at the same time. They've all got different settings. How can I make sure that the war room will adjust to those? So the war room was doing that anyway. It just wasn't letting you see all the leagues at once. But I already had a view all my leagues at once component in the league analyzer. So I just copied that from there into the war room. And yeah, it's plug and play for a lot of stuff. So it's been really handy.
It's also the different formats as well. So it's like you've got to cover basically everything. So it's got from best ball to dynasty to redraft and then it just keeps evolving. So like I was asking you questions the other day, and I think you were already looking at me before I asked about IDP. So yeah, it's just gradually turning into this monster of things.
Yeah,
but it's tracking my team.
I can't stop.
No, but it's great because there's so many different types of competitions that it's hard to be able to keep track of them all. And this way you can sort of just adapt as you go. You could be doing an IDP league in it 1 minute, then you're doing a dynasty league, then you're doing an auction league or a best ball league or whatever it is, and the app will adapt to it as well. So it's very good from that point of view.
Yeah, it is an incredible tool. We're going to talk a little bit more about it and some of the functions and benefits that you're going to get out of this and why you should do it. There'll be links to the show. If you're listening to this on the audio version, we've just shared the draft. So that is going to be going live literally now. So our friend Ant is going to be drafting first. He picked number 1 because he's an Arsenal season ticket holder, which makes sense since they are champions of England. I did that for Danny because Danny was moaning about how he's sick of hearing about Arsenal being champions of England. That's champions of England, by the way, Danny, just reminding you. So if you're on the audio version, then this is the point where I would cut off and go find the YouTube link. I'll post it in the show notes. You don't have to go finding for it, and watch the rest of this show because it's definitely going to be a very visual draft. We're going to be have the live draft board. You'll be able to see what's going on, and we're ready to go. So I think Ant is on the clock. Is the clock started?
No, I paused it. I'll start it now. Just one quick thing for anyone that is participating in this draft. You'll see little check boxes on the left side of the player names. That's so you can compare multiple players really quickly. So if you're torn between, say, Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson, you click the two boxes, hit compare. It pops up really quickly to show you all of the stats left and right. Green is better, red is worse. So you can make a quick snap decision. So it's built to work with inside your 60-second clock.
Yeah, so it's amazing. A lot of information here. So just for full transparency, this is a one PPR, 1 point PPR, 1 QB league. There's no defenses, there's no kickers. So we're going to do 15 rounds. So yes, it's going to look a little different from what you used to if you see Sleeper, but as Eric was saying, it's giving you a bit of a draft assistant. Danny's on the clock now at the 3 spot, but it's telling you what people have taken on this side here. So it's giving you a good view of likely positions you're going to take. And as Eric was saying with the checkboxes here, lots of great information. I love the age because that's definitely something that can definitely be a bit of a tiebreaker for people, plus their ADP. Some key stats in here all in one line, which is just really, really awesome to have that. And you can star, so you can easily filter through. So lots of great ways that you can go through. You can go through this and really understand it. We got a really sharp room. They're all people that listen to the pod or people that are playing in a lot of leagues. So this is going to be a difficult league to get significant value in. This is a 3 wide receiver mock draft, so it does bring a little bit of extra pieces to it, and it is kicked off with Jamar Chase at 1, Jackson Smith and Jigba at 2, Jahmyr Gibbs at 3, Bijan Robinson at 4. And it's up to Liam now, who's on the 5th spot, who's just taken Christian McCaffrey. And we'll keep you updated. We're not going to just read off all the picks. We'll do some analysis in between as we're getting through certain picks. But I think for me, what I wanted to highlight was you did this, Eric, for Scott Fishbowl. And I think when you're in these really large, we'll talk about the home leagues probably a bit later on, but when we talk about these large leagues, where I found this to be invaluable is getting a lens of what all the other leagues are doing and trying to identify the trends in real time. That's where I really saw the value of this, because if you're playing in those big tournaments of like 600 people, 300 people, in the Scottish Bowl, 5,500 people, knowing which way people are going and being able to see all that information in real time gives you, it's almost a bit like a stock trader in the sense of you're getting real-time data and real-time information that's allowing you to make better decisions across the board. And I think for me, that's where I ended up drafting a team I was really happy with, because it did allow me to find great value in a lot of positions. If you found, Eric, in those sort of large league formats, areas like that where it's been valuable and some other areas that have been really useful?
Yeah, I have. I find you tend to see a lot of sharper people going more towards a kind of nearly best ball-y style, rather than in the earlier version. So when we had the first live draft in Dublin and the first kind of couple of live drafts, they were a lot more kind of not gimmicky, but they were a lot more chalky builds. A lot more people were kind of going how you would expect. Then as we got into the online drafts, I started seeing the ADP shift quite wildly. It was getting pushed way more towards wide receivers and tight ends. The running backs and the quarterbacks were falling a lot further. So there was kind of more value there to be had. And then when you look and compare that with how kind of the sharper best ball drafts go as well, it's the same type of thing. It's getting those key receivers off the board early. You know, outside of Bijan and Jahmyr Gibbs, the running backs tend to slip a little further and further. So it's interesting to see how they they tend to kind of mirror each other. But that's not something that I was expecting. I kind of thought that the ADP would stick fairly similar the whole way through, but it was nice to see it evolve with the Scott Fishbowl. And actually, that's a nice segue here. So you will see something called TP. That's my Tradyr projection. So I do my own projections as well for every player in the NFL. The scores are showing Scott Fishbowl scores because I did copy a component so I could have this ready for this video, for this live stream. The scores generally tend to go how you would think they would go. You filter it. Puka's the top scorer, because he's projected to be the top scoring wide receiver. So don't worry about the total number of points there. They are wild because they're Scott Fishbowl numbers, but it'll still work in order. The TV is Tradyr value, so that's my own dynasty value applied to players. Just as an FYI there,
yeah. The settings for this draft are actually mirrored off the Kings Classic that starts tomorrow as well. So that's why we've got the 3 wide receivers over just 2, and the flex spots are the same as well. So everything's the score and everything's the same as the Kings Classic, which is what me and Murph are tomorrow.
Hang on. We still
do have a timeout.
6, yeah.
Yeah. Will I push?
He's in the chat, so we can select. Can you select for him?
I can select for him, yeah, if he wants to shout somebody.
Okay.
I think we know who he's going to pick. Well, I'd be surprised if he doesn't pick this guy because I'm surprised he's still there at number 6.
What, you mean Tua?
Yeah. What's it? Tyreek Hill, wasn't it?
Yeah. Here we go. The joys of live streaming.
That's when someone else has just messaged in the group. Tyreek Hill.
Devon A-Chan is the pick.
Okay, I'm surprised that someone is still there. 6 picks in. Yeah, I wonder who Merck's going to take. I can't believe you got him at 7.
You didn't even give time to show the nice animations I've built to show you that you're on the clock and stuff. So there's little things that'll happen. You'll get a little ding dong when you get down on the clock. It starts, beep, 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 beep. You're kind of on the clock will turn green. You'll get this border around your screen. So it's really, really noticeable that you're on the clock and that you're drafting. So it makes it very hard to miss the fact that you're picking. If you're on mobile, it will vibrate as well. Everything that I've built works both on PC and mobile natively, by the way. No subscriptions, no logins, no signups, no payments, no fees, no ads, no downloads.
Just the no logins is a big one for people. That's one. If you don't have to log in, you're not giving all your data away. So I think that's a big selling point to a lot of people.
Yeah, and it also makes my job easier in that I don't have to manage anybody's data because that's painful. Not that I can't do it. I just, I get asked lots of weird questions about, they're trying to steal it. And I'm like, I don't want anyone's data. I don't keep anything. Nothing is for me.
You're on the clock, Eric. Just FYI.
Yeah. I know.
I know what you're timing out. You got 34 seconds, but the data thing's massive. Like I just love this view again of just getting all this data in one place. It just is, for me, it just gives you so much sort of power at your fingertips. As we're seeing so far, it's, with the exception of the timeout, it's going smoothly. And this is a dry run. This is the first time. Is this the first ever draft ever conducted on here, Eric?
The first ever one that wasn't me and 6 different devices at the same time.
So first one for actual humans. So we're live.
First one actually human. So I'm delighted so far. It's gone a lot better than expected.
It is. Is there some ways in which you can customize these views, or will there be to see when the draft is finished and you can see the whole board? I know there is when you go through the Scott Fishbowl live ones.
So as the draft goes on, so once we get, it's only showing you current round and next round. So once we get to the second round, you'll then see a third line and then a fourth and a fifth and a sixth. So it will expand as we go. So it's basically maximizing the real estate for now. So early in the draft, you only want to see the first row, you want to see your draft assistant, you want to see the list of players. Okay, that's it. But then as the draft expands, you'll see all of the rows because that becomes pertinent information. But having 15 empty rows there does nobody any good, that type of thing.
No.
So,
no, I agree.
So that's why. So it'll grow as we go. There's a couple of other features. So if you scroll over to the right, and if you just click anyone's name, except yours, anyone else's, it will pop out now and it will show you their team in context, so you can see who they've drafted for each position. So it's collapsed as standard, but you can then see it, and you know it's clearly color coded. You'll see the RB and stuff, got the names and the logos and stuff in there.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So it keeps you on point. The draft assistant is customized. So for each person that's taking part, their draft assistant will be different. So, you know, it's telling you still need a tight end. For me, it doesn't tell me that I have a tight end. It is telling me, though, that there is an RB run, that 5 of the last 10 picks have been RBs. So I should probably target one with my next pick. You know, and it's context aware like that. Which I find is useful. And again, there's no AI involved in this. I have used AI to help me build it, of course, because it helps me ship much faster. But in the tool itself, it's just data and math. There's no LLM inside the tool. There's nothing happening there. There's no hallucination. There's nothing funky. If there's anything that's wrong in it, it's just because I've done something wrong math-wise. So it's a human error rather than an AI error type of thing. And I find a lot of people are jumping to the LLM side, which it gets very expensive very quickly. And eventually those apps are going to turn to subscription models or paid models. I mean, you could just ask ChatGPT the same question yourself. It'll do it for you, you know. But I just wanted, the data is there. You can query the data. I have everything in the tool is fully exportable if you wanted into an Excel file. So you don't even have to come to my site anymore. You can download everything I have in there into an Excel file. That's all signposted. It has all of the information on how to use it and what the information is and why it's relevant and where I'm getting it from and how I'm getting it. So you can replicate this. I just want to share, you know, my brain and the fancy information with everyone. Is the idea.
It's absolutely awesome. And again, we're enjoying watching this live in real time. So as you've identified, there's been a bit of an RB run. So we had Achan at 6. I picked Puka Nakua at 7. Justin Jefferson went at 8. Amon-Ra St. Brown at 9. I feel that's good value there. Brock Bowers at 10. So you broke the tight end seal there. Jonathan Taylor went at 11, Drake London at 12, Ashton Jeanty at 13. Then we hit the turn with James Cook and CeeDee Lamb, followed by Trey McBride and Marion Hampton. Chase Brown has just been picked. We're back on you, Eric. So there is seeming to be a bit of a running back run on now, with not many running backs. Sort of, we've had at the first 18 picks, we've had 9 running backs. 9 running backs, 2 tight ends, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 wide receivers. AJ Brown goes off the board. So
I was just watching the stream there, just to tell people how quick it is. I clicked the draft button, and within half a second, it's showing on stream my pick to you as another user on a separate terminal. You know,
there were some people telling me that they were seeing it live and watching, and they've seen the picks on the terminal on the stream before they saw it on their device.
Yeah, it's, you know,
so it's really quick.
It's refreshing. It's very quick. It's not cheap for it to be that quick. That does add expense, but I find it's worth it. You know.
Oh, there you go. There's the graphic. I'm on the clock. Who do you reckon I'm going to take here, Danny?
Let's see what running backs are there. I don't think you fancy any of them that early, so I would say that you'll probably go for another wide receiver.
Before you do that, Murph,
sorry.
Never mind, it's fine. I was going to say, can you click on a player just to on the boards just to open up what their profile looks like? So when you click Jordan, say Jeremiah Love, as an example, you should get a pop-up.
No,
not working. No,
that's okay.
I know Kyron. I was going to say Kyron is on brand. It was just I wasn't sure you'd take it. That was all.
the value of the stack as well. So, not that this is a best ball tournament or anything, but I just kind of I'm in on the Rams offense a lot. I'm looking at the run in front of me, knowing this is the thing with picking 7 in a 14 team. You've got to remember I've got 11 picks, and you're saying like mid-second. It's pick 22. Yeah. So really it's end of second in a standard for it. So when you're in a 14 team, you've got to train your eyes a little bit. Yeah. So it's effectively the 2-3 turn, which is slightly early. But considering my next pick is technically the end of the third in a 12 team, pick 35 out of 36 in that case, I don't think he makes it back. And I look at the running backs that were there. I'm not in on Love as much as anybody else. I'm not going to talk about other players until after they picked. But when I'm looking at the running backs that have gone in this second round, Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, Chase Brown, and Marion Hampton, I have Kyron Williams above all of those players. So for me, it's like if all those players are going, I'm kind of in the position where it's like I kind of need to take him. He's not going to come back to me. And I think there's going to be a significant deficit at the position given the run that's happened. Yeah. So, yes, you could argue the value was at wide receiver. But for me at that pick, I felt that the value, the tear off from Kyron to the next running back I get in round 3 was too great to pass up.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where my logic was with that pick. But we have had a run of running backs. We are on a run of wide receivers. So, to catch everyone up to date, AJ Brown went. It was Kenneth Walker, Breece Hall, Kyron Williams is who I took there. Jeremiah Love, Nico Collins, Emeka Ibuka, and then Malik Neighbors at the 212, Danny.
So that's one I wanted to talk to you about and see what your thinking is on this one. So the way I was looking at this was I'm sort of gamble on the fact that I will try to get to the playoffs with other players potentially at the start and then hope he kicks on at the back end of the season. But in a 14-team league, it's very risky to be taking him as your wide receiver 1 at the moment as well. But that's the thinking behind it, is that potentially I will have to hammer the wide receivers a bit more than normal to carry him maybe for a first 6 weeks or so.
A little bit, but then I'm looking at the wide receivers in range here, and actually, if I'm honest with you, I think we've had a timeout. He got no pick button. He was going to take Garrett Wilson.
Okay, let me add Garrett Wilson for him. There you go.
So, I think in a 14-team league, I almost admire the daringness to take Neighbors because you're looking at who you're passing up there. Garrett Wilson, Ted McMillan, Luther Burden, Chris Olave, who's just been selected, George Pickens. The only wide receiver I have in a similar tier baking in the injury that hadn't gone at this point is Ladd McConkey.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, you're betting on the upside, but actually I look at all those other players and think they're probably a tier down anyway from Neighbors. So I think this is where 14-team league, it does change your thinking a little bit.
Yeah.
You do need to, you got to realize that your team is going to not look as good as it would in a 12-team. And if you play typically in a 10-team or even an 8-team league, these teams are going to look, when we get into the middle rounds, they're going to look a bit stretched. They're going to look like they're not good. But actually, that's just the
you're only playing against 13 people, aren't you? It's not like you're playing against hundreds of other people. You're trying to beat the people on the screen now.
Right.
So as long as you've got a better team than them, then the rest of it doesn't matter.
Ryan is saying he's not seeing a button when he tries to draft. He wants ATN.
Is he not? Is he scrolling right over?
This is where it should come up, Ryan. Anyway, he said to take ETN. He's timed out.
Okay, it should still let them pick when they time out, but we'll add. It was Trevor ETN, yeah, just
Yeah. He said, yeah, he managed to pick first round. So
okay. Maybe just tell him to refresh. So Ryan, if you're listening, you can just refresh the page a couple of times, and it should pop back in for you.
They will pop it off at him in the chat. It's great. We've got a little side chat here going on. It's great. A question in from one of our drafters. Eric, are you able to set a queue?
Yes, you are. So that little star button will add the player to your queue. So if you just hover over, you'll see it says this adds to your private queue.
Yeah, because Matt, who asked that question, is on holiday at the moment, drafting on his phone on holiday abroad somewhere. So that probably makes his life a bit easier at the moment.
And that's the dedication you get here at 5 Yard Rush. Oh, by the way, some breaking news for you that Tony Romo has been arrested on suspicion of intoxicated driving in Wisconsin.
I've seen that before, actually, before we logged it. That was on before.
Oh, I'm on the clock.
Right.
Ooh.
So before you rush here, Murph, okay, let's take a little time. So if you're torn between two players, select the two check boxes and let's compare them and see. So don't worry about the clock timing out and stuff. Right, we'll figure that. But so you can click up to 4 players if you want. So if you have more,
go on then.
You go right ahead.
Oh, go on then. Treat me. Come on. All right.
There you go. All right, now click compare.
I feel like we should do go compare, but we might get
now. So here you can see you've got your 4 players. You can see who they are. You've got all of your different stuff. You've got their KTC value, their fantasy calc, dynasty process, their trader value, the games that they played last year. So what their season production was, points per games and stuff. You can see it's easily color coded and coordinated. So just at a quick glance, so you don't have to read the information, but it's there if you want to. And then you can see their weekly points projections below.
Look at this, like the A dot in here, air yards. Oh, you can see their boom and busts.
Question for you, because I know if Murph hasn't asked you this question already, I'm sure he is. Can he add his projections into this in any way?
Yeah. So you can add your projections as custom projections. It'll take it in any format, load it as a PDF, load it in as an Excel file, a CSV, load it in as plain text. You can send it as an email. It'll take the projections, it will parse through them, it will show you what they look like then, and you can accept or you can amend and alter inside the tool and do it that way. And then you can re-export your projections into a Tradyr clean version of a CSV, which will be accepted then by most other sites that allow projection uploading.
Perfect, because I'm sure he'll be trying that one out soon enough.
Oh, I will be.
Yeah. Projections and ranks, you can do it all.
So again, another RB run, 5 of the last 10 picks. So it's prompted me to take a wide receiver. You can see here the run. If you're listening to this still on audio. So we did Malik Neighbors at the 2-12. Then we Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave at the turn with Javonte Williams at the 3-1, and Travis Etienne, Ladd McConkey, Quinshon Judkins, Saquon Barkley, Devonta Smith, and then I broke the quarterback seal and took Josh Allen, followed by Josh Jacobs, and George Pickens. That gets us up to the 3-10 with Eric on the clock, pick 38. So we've seen the compare features. We've seen the fact you can bring in your own projections and do custom projections, which I think is really cool, because that for me, when I look at, I think I have multiple bugbears with Sleeper. Let's forget the day-to-day issues of the crashing and the frequent inability for it to load, right? And we just get into just the practicalities of the app. I think what I really loved about it was very aesthetically pleasing. It's very easy to go through and see all of this. The problem I always had was the fact of the only way you could filter is with the filters that were already built in here. So, people ask me, why do you like MFL? It looks like something out of the 1980s. And you're right. But the one thing about MFL for me is I can load my rankings in, and then I'm not worrying about ADP. I'm not worrying about total points scored, because I can factor in all of that stuff, because Sleeper's projections are limited. If you're playing these tournaments that have first downs or funky bonuses, Sleeper doesn't work those out for you, so they're all incorrect. So you kind of don't have that ability to just filter through things. Whereas on Tradyr, first of all, you work out all those points. At least you've got a metric, even if it's from last year, Eric. So it's more accurate when you're looking at the total scoring. But the fact is, you can cut this data any way you want to create your own custom list and work off it that way, which is why I think if you are, I think Sleeper is the best available tool if you're a fantasy, and I don't want to offend anyone that is like a big Sleeper advocate, but if you're not a commissioner, if you're just a Sleeper, kind of, you like playing the game, you just draft in leagues, everything's grand, like perfect, like you can just do what you need to do in there, and it's great. If you play any kind of league that has any kind of custom nature to it, or you commission one of those leagues, Sleeper is not for you. It just isn't. It's too basic. And that's kind of why I'm not as big a fan of it as, say, other people. So I like finding edges, and I think your tool, Eric, is where if you're a smart drafter, you can create ways of finding an edge. Whereas I don't think in Sleeper, what you're relying on is you're relying on doing that work outside of the platform. You have to have another spreadsheet. You have to have a piece of paper with you. You have to have another screen going to
100%.
have that. So you can't optionally do it all in one place, which is where you want your time and energy to be focused, because then you're missing picks and you're missing what's going on, and you take your energy off. So
just on that, Murph, as well, just on that point, like you could be in 7 or 8 drafts at the same time as well. So that could be 7 or 8 sheets that you've got out. Like my windows, well, I haven't done it as much this year, but last year I could have like 15 Excel sheets, 15 Sleeper things open, all to try, and you're trying to hop between them all. And it gets very hard work to do, and to be able to focus on all the drafts that you're in. But I get what you're saying. I don't commish, so Sleeper's fine for me in most cases. The fact I can't add ranks into it is a massive one, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and one like, it's a small issue with Sleeper, but one that I find immensely frustrating is I'm in the Battle of the Sexes draft at the moment, right? It's all flex, so you can't sort by. I just want to see wide receivers.
Yeah.
It's either
that one as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's annoying because you can't cut a view. You're having to I have a separate spreadsheet going and tracking the picks, which is just madness.
Yeah, so I just use the war room on Tradyr, and that does the job for me, you know. So
it is baffling. Like I think that's it. So like, I've said about the performance. I'm not going to harp on about it, but I think for me, like, what I love about something like this, and again, it's just the fact of you're not losing anything from the performance, the aesthetics. I know there's been a couple of small things tonight with the buttons. Yeah, Ryan is saying that he's not getting the button, and he is showing the screen, and it's not showing the thing. So Ryan, yeah, just try and refresh.
He's switched to mobile. Actually, he said he's good now.
Okay. So yeah, there's always going to be a couple of things with something new. But what I like about this, and I'll be keen to get the room's view when we're done here, is we're 50 picks in. You know, we've been drafting for about 25 minutes. It's gone quick. It hasn't really had, other than Ryan not being selecting, a lot of issues. But I find that, and I'm looking at the teams here, and it's a sharp room as we expected, but there's no value to be had because everyone's scooping it up. there's literally no value. So we talked about Josh Allen being picked. Josh Jacobs is the 3-8, followed by George Pickens, followed by Derrick Henry at 3-10. That's a good pick, Eric, to be fair. Rashee Rice, Ted McMillan, Lamar Jackson, Bucky Irving, Zay Flowers, Devontae Adams, Drake May at the 4-3, T. Higgins, and then Eric's followed up with another running back. He has taken Trayvon Henderson. I think these teams, I will get a take at around round 6 while people are feeling, but I don't think there's clear favorites at this point, considering we're 50 picks in.
There's no bad team either.
No, which I mean is fine because we're three rounds in, but you know, or near 50 picks in. So this is the point. I think it'd be interesting to see how it separates, especially in a 14-team league. But yeah, I don't look at any of these teams and think, oh, there's something really weird going on here, or what's that, or any super reaches.
It makes me wonder what tomorrow's going to be like, Murph, because we're in this exact same format, and we've got John Hanson in our draft, Bob Harris, Bob Lung.
Yeah, but we
Jeff
scored them all
Mann.
last year, mate. We lost the final on just horrendous.
It was the auction one we lost, wasn't it? The final.
Oh, yeah.
Snake we need to do better in.
Oh, it's on me. Right. Let's see who's available. Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't expect Cam to be here. Hi, Cam. Up to the team.
Did you see Cam do his backflip at the?
Yeah, maybe this made me want to draft him more. Harbaugh and his powerful speech that absolutely no one reacted to. Yeah, I'm drinking all that in. I'm in on the New York Giants. They're going 17-0, mate. Done. Cam falling over.
Did you see did you see the update then that the next day he was seen limping?
Yeah, but he's putting it on us, man.
I don't know. It's one thing limping when you're kind of in front of the camera for attention, but he was at a card show just walking around buying sports cards and Pokemon cards, and he's limping as he's going about his day-to-day business. It's kind of like, I still think he'll be perfectly fine. He's that type of guy where he's all or nothing, and I think he will go out there.
He can be all or nothing.
So
he doesn't need to be all or nothing off the pitch. He's like,
I think it's a mindset thing, As he said, if he's going to do him, and more power to him. I think it's slightly risky, but I'm not overly concerned about him. I just find it funny the way he was saying, "I'm fine." Now I'm limping.
Yeah, but what's the worst thing? What's the worst injury he would do there? Because if it was broken and everything, we would know that by now, right? So, what's the worst thing he's done is if an ACL, he hasn't got an ACL, we would know.
It's probably a sprain, but it's probably our tenderness. He has come back from surgery and stuff, so it's probably it happens. It happens to me.
Sure.
I surgery in January, it gets tender after exercise now and then. So
yeah, so he's just going to need to rest up for a week. He'll be all right.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
He's fine because he's on my team of winners with Puka Nakua, Kyron Williams, and Josh Allen. So,
what I was going to say earlier when Danny drafted Neighbors was
he's not on the
one of the important things I find is in a 14-team league like this is health is so important. If you can get your early picks healthy throughout the season, you're going to be there or thereabouts towards, the upper end of the league. If your first couple of picks are missing games here and there out for a period of time, you're probably going to be falling back away from the chasing pack. I think Ryan's having issues, big ones there. Pierce.
I think my team will either win it or come last. I've gone for I've taken a couple of gambles.
He still says
already.
He's got no pick button, but he wants Alec Pierce. But yeah, we're nearly at the end of round 4. So to update everyone what's happened, where we last at, we were at T. Higgins, Trayvon Henderson, Tyler Warren, third tight end off the board, Carnell Tate, Cam Scatterbo, Luther Burden, Jalen Waddle, Terry McLaurin. Danny took his one and only love, Bashar Tootin, and we just had Alec Pierce. We're about to end round 4, and we are starting to get to the point where I think this draft starts to separate quite significantly over the next couple of rounds. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. What would you say for people watching this, Eric, and they've heard us talk and they've heard us around all this app Tradyr, what can it do? And we've talked a little bit. We'll talk a little bit more about the dynasty leagues and the analytics. But what would you say? What would you say is like the main pieces if you were like advising someone for the first time here? and asking people to sort of say, right, here's what I would do for the first time if you were accessing the app for the first time to get some immediate value?
Oh, it's a good question, and it kind of depends on who I'm speaking to. Because again, it's built not for anyone; it's built for everyone. If you're the person that needs all of the data, it's there. I have all of the stuff reception perception has. I just don't have the fancy graphics, okay? But I have all of the underlying data. I don't have Matt Harmon obviously does a great job, and he has himself and his team that manually watch all of the routes. I don't have that, but we have all of the other data. I have all of the play-by-play information. You can go as deep as you want on the data. All of it's free, and that's in there. You can go as easy as, I just want to see a list of players for ranks. I remember when I first started playing Dynasty, looking at Mike Taglier's draft trade value sheet for Dynasty values, and doing it that way on Fantasy Pros. Yeah, I have stuff that's relatively basic like that. We have the trade calculator. I have the start sit engine for a Sunday night and you're not sure who to start. We have the trade finder. We have the league analyzer. We have the portfolio manager. So that's where if you're in many leagues, you go inside, you select the leagues you want to now view as part of your portfolio. It will open up. It will show you how well you've done in those leagues over the years. It will show you all of the players you have rostered in one list, and it will show you how many shares you have. Let's say I have Devin Achan, and I want to trade him away. I click Devin Achan, and it will show me every other league that my league mates are in where they have Devin Achan and what they've paid to acquire him and when they've acquired him. It will also show me leagues that my league mates are in that I'm not in, where they don't have Achan, but they've seen a recent Achan trade. Because I'm often in a league and I'll see someone else make a trade for a player. They'll be like, oh, I didn't realize I could get Jalen Waddle that cheap. Let me go try it somewhere else. So it's got so much. And even if you don't like fantasy football, there's tons of stuff there for an NFL person. Again, the stats all transfer. They're NFL stats, right? So the stats are there for NFL nerds to dig into and look and find out who was there. I've got all of the historical data, so you can see the best ever performances for each franchise in the NFL. You can also see that in a fantasy context. So you can see, Bijan Robinson had a great season last year. How does that stack up in, the annals of the Atlanta Falcons from a fantasy perspective, right? That's there. I also have Tradyr Games built, which is nothing to do with fantasy football at all. That's like a Wordle for the NFL. It's got a guess this player. It's got a build your own team type of thing, just so you can do bits and pieces.
Amazing. I'm just going to cut you off there. We need some picks. Mike Evans and Joe Burrow, and then Jonathan Brooks. So apparently it's just cutting off a little bit on the mobile where the drop button is.
Another really
turn it landscape. So mobile, if you turn landscape, you'll fit more into the screen. You should see the button that way.
It's apparently if you turn it landscape, it does expand, but it's not there.
It's okay. I'll make a fix to that. A bit. So sorry, it was Mike Evans, Burrow,
and then Brooks. Yeah, and that puts Danny on OTC.
Yeah, I was just going to say for the nerds out there, like it's really good for Discord. So I've the 5 Yard Rush Discord. I've set up a channel in there, and I've got the app set up so you can ask it questions via the Discord, and it will call out to the app, and then give you stuff. So say for example, I could say compare Joe Burrow with Drake May, or trade value. You can ask a trade value. So you can say, what's the trade value for Drake May at the moment, and it will show you trades and give you an idea, all that type of stuff. So that's in the Discord. It's free, but nobody's used it yet. So we're pushing it tonight.
Well, there you go. People need to use it. Use it in the Discord. I'm going to give a shout out. Creator of 5 Yard Rush, Chris Mitchell, is here. He's watching live, which is amazing. My boy Starks is here. watching us along, and special shout out, he donated, as you can see the ticker on the bottom. We were £11 short of hitting 4K. He has donated the £11 to hit us to 4K. So we're at 4,002 total funds raised for 2026. So Stocks, I love you, man. You know that. Got to get you on for one of these soon. But also, I've put the link in the comments. So please do, if you're enjoying the show, chuck us a couple of pounds in donation. All this money is going to go to Crohn's and Colitis UK, a charity really near and dear to my heart. For those of you who don't know me, you'll know soon. I just realized, again, featuring... Yeah, I know I'm on the clock. I was about to say, what's really cool is on the tab on laptop, it tells me I have how many seconds on the clock, 28 seconds. So it flashed on the tab, and it's telling me on the tab, so I don't even have to be on the screen to tell me I'm on the clock, which is pretty awesome. I'm going to have a little look-see at what we've got available here. Yeah. How are we going to go? I think we're going to have to do it. Yeah, I hear you. Let me take Tuckercraft.
Myth with stocks being on, how are the Broncos going to do this year?
Well, I think he's a. I think he is going to be a little bit down on the Broncos, maybe more than others. But he's always sort of pessimistic when it comes to his own team. That's just who he is. Question from Liam, who's drafting alongside us, is where are the bye weeks? It's a good question.
Put that into the video.
Good question. Yeah. I'll add those in. Don't worry.
Yeah, See, this is great. You're getting live feedback. We've got all sorts of profanities going on in the chat. Apparently, Samsung is what's causing some of these issues, as well as live real-time feedback for you all. That it's the two guys who've had problems with the draft button. They both use Samsungs. Buy an iPhone; they're better. I learned this week that don't worry, Sleeper have just a bigger problem with Samsungs, where you can send out links, and if you've got a Samsung device or an Android device, you can't open the link and it opens the app, which is useful. There's a link to the Diskin page, so you find that, donate a few shekels if you can afford it. Don't go into debt to donate money to charity.
I was just going to say as well, mate, don't forget what's starting on Monday. It's nearly there, isn't it? The FFCC.
Tuesday. Starting Tuesday. Yeah, I just find Mondays just everyone does the start on a Monday, and I've done the start for Monday for the last 7 years. I just find I don't want to say problematic, but I find that people need to get into the week. So I'm trying something different by starting on a Tuesday and hoping that people kind of can get ready for it.
Well, it's good. It's good for a lot of the people in the draft tonight. They're all in Johnny's Orkney Bowl, and the Orkney Bowl starts on Monday as well. So it's good to have them on two separate days because we can focus on Orkney Bowl Monday and then focus on FFCC on Tuesday. So I think probably 3/4 of the people on this now are all drafting on Monday.
Wow. So, well, there's all sorts of drafts. You got Brick Towers, which starts
tomorrow.
King's Classic is tomorrow. So we've got two full drafts, and then that going on.
Was it the multi-Neuro Bowl is on tomorrow as well? I'll plug that one. That's this one. See that one that I won last year?
The what one was that?
The MND Bowl.
Oh yeah, the NMD Bowl.
Yeah, that's the first big best ball competition I won.
It's another one I finished as the runner-up in. So all I do is come runners up in all these events. I'm like Arsenal, mate. I'm gonna get my flowers all in one go when I become champion of everything. Yeah, I was the first ever runner-up in the NMD Bowl, first ever runner-up in the Warrior Bowl. There's another one.
In the what's name? The
UKFL, that old thing that doesn't run anymore. I was a top 3 finalist in that too. Littered with loads of second and third place in big tournaments, but All by the by. Right, better update some picks, and then we'll talk a little bit more on Tradyr. So where did we get to? Jonathan Brooks. So we went Alec Pierce, Mike Evans, Joe Burrow, Jonathan Brooks, Colston Loveland, DeAndre Swift, Chuba Hubbard, DJ Moore, Tucker Kraft, Mackay Lemon, RJ Harvey, David Montgomery, Jaden Daniels, Jameson Williams, Jordan Tyson, and now Christian Watson. So we are at the end of 5. We're going to give it one more round, and then we're going to start doing some team by team analysis. So we can start comparing notes of who would we swap with, who do we like. Chris is saying only the best people are runners up in the Warrior Bowl. That's correct. Liam's gone 1 league title, not exactly the quadruple. When your team wins a league title, Liam, feel free to drop me a text. But only the best people do come runners up. It's a very elite club, isn't it, Chris? We actually get together. We got jackets made and all sorts. Actually, all joking aside, I do have a hoodie, a Warrior Bowl runner-up hoodie, which is in the closet behind me. So the best thing with, I guess, really, we've talked so much about like league analysis, and you can use the 5-yard Discord to poll it and ask it questions. We've talked about big fantasy formats in big tournaments. We've talked about the fact you can do drafting and analysis, and and Eric's always open to feedback. What would you say, Eric, would be for, and I'm conscious you're going to be picking in 2, so like feel free to pause in the middle of your answer. But what would you say for like people who are planning to use this more and more in terms of where they're going to get the value in Dynasty, where they're going to get the value in redraft, and where they're going to get the value in like monitoring their best ball leagues? Make a pick first before you answer, because you're on the clock.
Yeah. Got to take my guy, so that's an easy enough one. Big Marvin Harrison fan.
That's fair.
So back to the question. So look, for me, it's the data availability that I have and the way that it's structured and laid out. So it's all at a glance. Everything is built to be quick, right? Again, people are busy. It's a time-consuming hobby at the best of times. I'm trying to give people time back. So when you quickly compare the players, you can see, right, you can spend an hour going through all the values and figuring out what's what, or you can just visually see, this guy has way more green. I'll go there. So I have all of the data. I'm pulling it from NFL Verse. I'm pulling ADP from all of the best ball sites for best ball specifically, right? So we have that listed. You can search and filter based on platform or whatever you want. It helps. I've already got it built in to help you find where the potential edges are. It will show you when a player has a massive value difference, either in ADP or value through various sites. So again, there could be a potential edge there. So if you think, for example, Fantasy Calc is better than KTP, you can then pick. It'll highlight that Marvin Harrison is ranked 8 spots apart on these 2 sites. So if you think he's KTC value, go and get him. He's cheaper. Or if you think he's FC value, go and sell him because you can get more. You can get more for him, right? So the best ball works the same. It'll help you go through your drafts. I mean, people do hundreds of these best ball things. So I really like the best ball feature. It's quick and easy. You can even compare your portfolio. So you can download your file from Underdog. You can upload it. It'll show you your roster percentage. It's monitoring all of that kind of stuff. So again, for me, I'm a data nerd. So it's just data. It's a fancy spreadsheet. This entire thing, in my opinion, it's a fancy spreadsheet. And it's just there. It makes it easy for someone who's not a data person to get in and see all of the stuff other people are looking at. So it kind of levels the playing field is what I would say. That's another value component of it. And it's free. I mean, a lot of stuff isn't. Back when I started fantasy, a lot of data and articles were free. Some stuff was paywalled. Now it seems everything is paywalled. And I understand people need to make money and they need to make a living and things cost and stuff like that. And that's perfectly fine. But I just wanted to add another avenue into the industry where there's no cost factor. There's no gatekeeping here at all. And that's why I have my no logins policy, no signups, no subscriptions. Like, I've got the functionality to send out text alerts, to send out emails. I've got the functionality to connect to ESPN, to Yahoo Leagues, to Flea Flicker, to
Flea Flicker, yeah. We got old school.
I built it for pretty much everything that will take it. The problem with some of the other sites, though, is it requires me to grab your login. And I'm passing that.
Carl Pitts
I
is
don't
the pet care, by the way, just FYI.
Oh, let me see who he wants. Okay, Kyle Pitts. And so, because I don't want to be holding logins or taking people's information, I'm not connecting to those sources. Okay, I have it already built. I did test it. It all works perfectly fine. But I do get to see someone's email and password when they add it in. I don't want that information. If anything ever happens, somebody's just going to go, oh, I gave it onto that free fantasy website one day. Maybe that's where the hack happened. Definitely won't be. I have all of my secure data protocols in place, but I just don't want anyone thinking anything untoward for this free app. And as I said, this will be free as long as it doesn't cost me anything. Yeah, or doesn't cost me much. So now it's quite affordable. It'll scale to maybe 10,000 active users at once without causing any issues for people, or for me. Once we kind of scale beyond that, it'll start getting a little bit slower, not too much slower. You might see 3 seconds between a pick instead of it being instant, right? And again, that's just to help it scale, to keep the costs relatively okay for me to manage. And it's something that I'm fine to do. So that money that I was spending on fantasy sites, I'm now spending on Tradyr. So it was like a swap. So I just get my time back and then I can give something back to everyone else. Again, other services are way better at doing a specific singular thing. For example, again, because I love reception perception, Matt Harmon's reception perception is amazing, right? It's great. It's there. You can go and pay money for it. You can get it, okay? You can get 90% of what he has for free on Tradyr. But if you specifically want reception perception, I can't give you that, right? That's Matt Harmon's thing. You need to go there and get that from him. But there's a lot of people who don't want Matt Harmon's reception perception or don't need it, and they just want close enough. That's when you come to Tradyr. It does, as I said, it's 57 separate tools in there across all sorts of things. You've got your explosive play rate. That's a big thing that's come up in the fantasy industry in the last kind of 18 months. Everyone's banging on about that now. There's a whole tab in there. There's metrics. I've built my own kind of metrics and stuff like that. But ultimately, the best predictor of future success is last year's fantasy points per game. I mean, don't try and mess with it. It's just, it is. I've blended that with 5 other metrics and I've managed to get a better metric than fantasy points per game, but there's so much effort was involved in getting that and it's marginally better. It's less than, it's like 1.5% better than just using previous fantasy points per game. But look, again, it's the accessibility of it adds to its value as well. As I said, it caters to everyone, and there's probably too much in there, to be honest now, and it's, I don't know, maybe some stuff gets lost and that's part of why people don't use it or whatever. So I probably have to figure that one out a little bit. I did add the command palette. So if you press Control and K or Command and K on a Mac, it will let you search the entire site really quickly. So you can jump to any section that you want. So
that's a good one. I know that one. I'll be trying that after this call.
Caleb Williams is the pick here.
Caleb, sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
No, you're fine.
Question for you as well. Is there a way to? The only reason it just got me thinking about it then was, say for example, I took Jalen Hurts there as my QB. So straight away, I'm counting back to see what QB did I actually get him as. So I got him as QB7, I think it was. So is there a way to have it where it's got wide receiver or QB or whatever?
Yeah. It's supposed to have that. It is supposed to have that. Let me make sure I fix that.
Because that'd be very handy, because like you'd see Parker Washington go off now and say, okay, we're at wide receiver 30 at the moment or whatever it is. It gives you an idea.
It had it in the Scott Fishbowl draft. So yeah, I think it is normally in there.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll start to update where we were. Where were we? Christian Watson, Harold Fannin, Jadarian Price, Roma Dunze, Sam Laporta, Marvin Harrison Jr., DK Metcalf, George Kissel, Brian Thomas, which pissed off more than a few people in the chat, Justin Herbert, Michael Pittman, Cortland Sutton, Jalen Hurts, Kyle Pitts, Jalen Warren, Kyle Menengai, Caleb Williams, Parker Washington, Michael Wilson, Tony Pollard, and Oronde Gadsden.
Yeah, Liam's not very happy. We're all getting abused in the chat because we're all taking the players that he wants.
Well, he's had 6 picks. What does he want? Oh boy. I don't really want to make the spec, but why not? Fine. That was J.K. Dobbins. So yeah, we'll start analyzing people's teams the minute Pat Mahomes goes off the board. So we'll get to the end of this round. We'll start analyzing people's teams. I feel like people are starting to understand what this tool can do, and really are just scratching the surface here. We'll get you on, Eric. We'll look through some of the features sort of later on in the off season. And how people can really find an edge, because I think with this audience that we cultivate here, it is about finding edges. It's about being contrarian. It's about doing things that people don't do. So you look at the content that Danny and I have put out this season. It's been doing different things, not just there's this player in this situation, take him. We've looked at the 21 different offensive changes in personnel. We've looked at the offenses and analyzed them. We've looked at the O-lines and analyzed them. We looked at the efficiency of each team and analyzed them. Then we looked at the different positions, and we've analyzed where there's some efficiencies, where teams and players are potentially undervalued. We brought some really smart people on to look at some efficiencies. We then did IDP. So we've done a lot of stuff this offseason, and we're really keen to make sure that people are utilizing all that information. So go and listen to the last few episodes here on the channel. Make sure that you are subscribed to the Patreon. That's 5rush / Patreon, or you can also follow our Substack. Just search Murph Fantasy Football Intelligence. You can find that, and most of that stuff is also on there. So before we start analyzing people's teams, Eric, what in terms of for you, like how many leagues do you play in and put data in for this to have value for you?
So I did have a lot of leagues, but I cut down a lot, and it still has value, right? So I'm at about, I think, 12 at the moment. That doesn't include any of the best ball stuff that I'll do. Okay, I'm a late best ball drafter. I know there's an edge drafting earlier, but I prefer doing it late. But yeah, it's kind of 12. I've taken on more now that I've built Tradyr, and I can trust the Tradyr will help me manage the rosters and stuff and be informed in things in leagues. So I will start taking more leagues on. So obviously you got me into the Towers universe, my first foray into IDP. So I had to build the IDP section because I'm like, right, I'm not going to be able to dive in and learn IDP in a couple of weeks without spending tons and tons and tons of hours, right? So I've built it into Tradyr, so it'll help me. And then I was like, right, what else can I do? And like, it's a unique league format. It's a pyramid league. So I built out an entire section for the Towers universe to show the pyramid. So you can see how all the leagues work and where everyone is ranked from, 1 to 9, I think it is, and stuff. So even if I was just playing in that one league, I would still use a tool like Tradyr and get value from it for that specifically. So I don't think there's a minimum number of leagues someone would need to have to get benefit from Tradyr. It's, and when I first made the first version, right, to give myself time, a thing, and the reason it's called Tradyr actually is it was built to try and encourage trade. So before I even had the tool, and when I was still spending hours and hours, I had written a simple script that would analyze my home league, and it would give me these fictitious trades as if Adam Schefter had tweeted it out. And I'd send it into the league chat. And they were basically, this team needs a quarterback. This team has too many quarterbacks. They should trade. Here's a potential trade. And it was actually generating buzz and trades in the league. So then I made sure that I built that into Tradyr as a component. One of the early components was, and you'll see it when you go in. If you click, it's the very top left tile when you join, or when you click the connect, it will bring you in. And the first two things you'll see is like a Tinder style trade swiper. So it'll show you trades that make sense for your team, but then it will show you these trade rumor cards, and it's like sources close to, Eric Nelson claimed that he's willing to let Jalen Hurts go at a discount. Murph is interested and will offer Jadarian Price, something like that, And it's two pieces. You need one, I need the other. We both have a surplus, and they're both roughly equal value. So it recommends those trades. And it's again, you can go in within 5 seconds, you'll see at least 5 or 6 trades that you can make or offer instantly that are fair value and make sense for your trade partner. And so it helps encourage trading. So every league that I've been in that has used it, people are using it, and they're kind of sending the trades like they're Tradyr approved. So it's generating that buzz that, because again, the fun part about this is trading. It's making that trade to kind of make your team different, that you hope is better, that will take you over the edge.
There's a question on the screen from Orkney Ball. Can you add more than one league at a time on Tradyr?
There is no limit to the number of leagues that you can have. You can have as many as you want. And this is part. So this is kind of tested. What we're doing now is helping test a part of Tradyr that Murph had asked me to look into, which was what would it look like for Tradyr to become a fully fledged fantasy platform to offer bespoke and custom leagues. And so I have it built, but I couldn't trust that the drafting feature would work and the roster management feature would work because I'm testing it on my own with multiple laptops. So this is great data for me to get now. But again, as you said, you love MFL for the customization, right? So MFL currently have, I believe it's 186 different values for scoring, which is amazing. It's the most in the industry. No one else offers more than that. Today, Tradyr offers 256 different values for scoring. So you can make a league any way you want. You can build tournaments in Tradyr. So you could mimic Scott Fishbowl with a couple of clicks. You could build the King's Classic. You could build Battle of the Seconds. You could do any type of league that you can imagine can now
don't tempt me.
Place
yeah.
on Tradyr.
Don't tempt me. I just
did some testing.
Systems.
You can try.
Next year, I bet. Yeah.
So
don't put that.
That's the idea. Is that I will take on. I want a couple of test leagues to have that we can score. It will do it that way. So I will hold everything. The trades can all happen. The roster management can happen. We can do the waivers. We can do everything. So I'm now a Tradyr will then kind of become a competitor to MFL and Sleeper, right? That's the ultimate goal. I'm on the clock. I'm gonna take QJ. The other side of that is
hang on. So I've been asked that the Strange pick wasn't meant to happen. Could it be swapped out?
Yep. What was the Strange pick? Brenton Strange.
The actual player, Brenton Strange. So I'm getting you a name. The name is Strange Out Coraman.
Okay.
And there's comments in the chat while you're doing that. So one is be great to have a mobile app for this. Love the clean look and everything.
Already there.
So it's already there.
Mobile app is there. Yeah. So if you just go onto the website on your mobile, you will see that there's a little button that says install to home screen. So it's not in the app stores. You just save it as an icon to your home screen, and you'll see it's not working, but I have a little button there for Tradyr, and it opens up. It'll cache everything the first time you log in. It will, or not log in, sorry, the first time you open it, it will take a minute or two to load. It saves all of the information so that if you were going on a long haul flight, you have access to everything Tradyr has to offer without having to be online. Because again, value add. So I'm just looking.
And then one more question was, could we have where we've got all QB, RB, wide receiver, tight end? Could we have flex? So it will look at best player available. It's not a quarterback.
Yep, that's good. I will add that. I actually don't have that anywhere, so that's a good one.
Yeah,
it's like we're doing beta testing at the moment, aren't we? It's
beta test on
a
live stream. We couldn't literally be any more stressful, but
it's not going too bad. It's not going too bad.
It's done well.
I think it's been really good and really valuable.
I have to undo the previous picks to get that Brenton Strange one gone, so we'll just see what that looks like.
Or the other, maybe don't do that. Can you remember all the picks?
I've taken a photograph. Yeah.
Okay, cool, fine.
Yeah,
that's fine. So while you're doing that, I'm going to ask Danny, because I know some of the picks just come before, but we've finished 7 rounds, so we're halfway through the draft pretty much. Tell me what you think about whose teams are standing out for you and why they stand out.
Okay, so I'm not going to even look at yours, Murph. Let's look at the rest of them. I quite like Liam's team, actually. Team 5. It's a bit boom or bust. There's a few aging players in that team, so you're hoping, obviously, McCaffrey and Barkley bounces back this season, potentially. But it seems quite a nice balance. The one thing is these running backs seem to have disappeared very quickly, and he's got 2 good ones, and then he's got 2 potential decent ones as cover as well. So I like that side. I probably should have gone a bit more running back heavy, because they've just disappeared very quickly. Obviously, if your team is good, but we won't talk about that. What else? Eric's as well, for that same reason. Henry, Henderson, Montgomery is given him a bit of depth. He's got the best tight end for me. Not sure about Harrison Jr. though. Team 11's another good one. Jonathan Taylor, Chase Brown. Got Daniels in the 5th. I think Laporta's due a good season as well. Mm-hmm. Pretty good team there. To be honest, they're all good. There's none of them jumping out at me that is saying, "Oh, that's a bad team." There's a couple of risky picks, but nothing major really. To be honest, mine's probably the most risky one. Looking at it, my pick 3 and my pick 4. So not 3, 2 and 4 are probably both very risky. Happy enough with the rest of them, but yeah, no. To be honest,
there's some really fascinating teams here. So, like, I look at what you say there. So, in terms of, again, Liam's team, bit boom or bust, very high ceiling. There's some red flags there, but there's some real potential that can come through there. I look at Ant's team. Yeah, Ant's team is what I call like a doubles team. He's just hit doubles all the way through. You got a lot of solid players. It will contend. It's all going to be dependent on like that team to win needs Burrow to throw 50 TDs.
Yeah, I wanted White, who's just got to give me some depth, and he's just gone off the board.
Oh well, that is a rotten bit of luck, my friend.
Yeah, they're all good teams. What's in it? Looking at Team 9 looks good as well. It looks quite very balanced. Obviously, it's a bit risky with Harvey, but most of there's no bad teams. It's just there's going to need to be a lot of luck, staying injury free. But there's not much between any of these, and then a lot of would come down to the later picks, really, of anyone finding like a sleeper or someone who goes off it who wasn't expected to, or one of the rookies or something. It's like it's probably the latter half of the draw that probably dictates who wins, I think, because most of these are very close.
Yeah, I agree with that. I look at like Ryan's team, you're relying on that running back position could either be great or it could be an absolute disaster. Ant's got a doubles team. Your team, again, you got the risk with Neighbours and Tootin, but if those two guys shine and put through, you're in a good spot. I like Johnny's team. I'm a bit down on Judkins this year, but I love the wide receiver core of Agbuka, McLaurin, Sutton, Wilson.
Yeah,
I think is strong. Liam's team, yeah. I mean, he's got so many range of outcomes there. Al's team, fits Tragics. I don't love the quarterback selection there, but the fact he has got a bit of a stack there with Gadsden, I think is good. Decent wide receiver core. He's got the two heavy hitter running backs. I think there's a lot of outcomes. It's that quarterback pick. I think if that had been something else and he was waiting the QB, I'd probably be a lot more on side with that team. The other Al, I think, is what I call a double. Again, it's a doubles team, right? Every single pick there has a merit and a purpose, and it's methodical. There's a little bit of risk there with Kittle, but it's solid. Do I think there's a high upside play in there to get you over the hump? No, it's almost a little safe. I think it lacks that sort of high ceiling player. I like Team 9 a lot. I think Team 9 is got that nice balance, but it's got a couple of those potential like elite performers in Stafford, in Amon-Ra Brown and Walker, who I think is going to get leaned on early just as they ease Mahomes in. And then again, Pickens could be a really high ceiling player. Warren could be a high ceiling player. Yeah, the second running back position's a bit of a shocker. But if there's an injury and a pickup, if they can hit on the late picks, that would be really interesting. And yeah, Chris's team is really solid, with those two heavy hitters. He's got two really solid running backs, two solid wide receivers again with Daniels, Laporta. I think that to me feels like if I had to put my money on a team now, that would probably be it.
It's a nice balanced team.
It's got a really nice balance. There's strong hitter, there's strong elite performance like at every position. I'm not sure these last two picks are going to hit the same way as some of these other picks, but I think it's solid. And again, like Team 12 has got May. I worry about that RB2 position. Like it's faded so far that it's to Blake Corum. So and Hampton, I'm not in on. So I think that running back position is an area of concern, but strong wide receivers, obviously got an elite quarterback. Matt, who is half cut in France, has done well. Obviously, he was always going to go GT given he's a Raiders fan, but again, it doesn't have that elite receiver. But if Adams can put in a 13-14 touchdown season, that's going to be really strong for him with Lawrence there. And then you've got James again. Another team has just hit lots of doubles there with Cook and Lamb and Irving and Flowers. And if Watson can stay healthy, but with Dart, there's not a bad pick. Everything there is methodical. Again, I don't see that big swing play. You're hoping it's Lamb. I'm not sure it is, but yeah, so you got like the safe plays, which in a 14-team league, there's good purpose to have that sense of balance. But I think you need that one elite swing, which is quite hard to get because at 14, the 13 best players in the draft in theory have come off the board. And I think if I'm drafting a 14 in this format, I'm looking to reach at one of the positions, like a quarterback position, to have an elite position locked up, so it's not just all doubles.
Who would you say, Murph? Asking a slightly different question, looking at that draft, where would you say that maybe 2 or 3 top value picks that you see and think that guy I would have expected to go, quite a bit sooner, or that's a really good pick at that position? Is there any of them jumping out to you?
Yeah, there's a few. Hurts is a big one. I think QB7 there feels strong. Sutton before that, I think is good value. They feel the biggest values. I would say. I don't think there's a huge ton of value early. I don't think there's anyone that's fallen outside the top 3 rounds and have gone, oh, I'm surprised they've made it into round 4.
Yeah.
Maybe T. Higgins is probably that exception. But I would say the top 40 picks are very chalky. You can kind of cut them any way you like. You could argue Scatterboo a little bit because the fall off from him is Tootin, Brooks, Swift, Hubbard, Harvey, Montgomery. There's a clear teardrop at that point. But I wouldn't necessarily say it was a huge value. I think he was just the end of a line.
Yeah.
Pollard, maybe. It's boring pick, but boring in the sense of he's reliable. He's not going to win you a championship, but he's, for what you're getting in that range, there really isn't. I'd rather him than whoever else has gone after him at the running back position, if that kind of makes sense. Gadsden the same. I think he's got a high ceiling in him, and Jake Ferguson feels like a really good value pick. I'd say they're the ones that kind of stand out to me as the values. I don't think there's any significant reaches. Herbert would probably be it, and I know I was saying you don't fancy him with McDermott, and I went, not loads, but it's not even that. It's what's Justin Herbert's range of outcomes in fantasy football. You're picking him at that spot to be a top 4 or 5 quarterback. And that's his ceiling. If everything went right, that's what you're getting. I'm just not a fan of paying ceiling prices. I think you could have waited 2 rounds. I don't think the room takes him. Now, Alex drafts with some of these people more than me, so maybe I'm mistaken and he's I have to get him and I have to pay the price, and that's fine. I'm not anti that at all. But for me, I don't think I could pull the trigger there, not with Hurts on the board especially. And I have him below Mahomes, Stafford, Prescott, Lawrence, Dart. He's under all them for me. So that's the pick I kind of look like and think for me, yeah, is the one I'm not there. But it's one pick in a whole draft, which isn't bad at all. What do you think, Eric?
Sorry, give me a quick recap of what you're asking me there. I was just we're just
talking about the teams. Whose teams do you kind of like?
Yeah, so I think you were right earlier. I do really like Team 11. It's kind of similarly built to my team. I think in a 14 team, the running backs are really important. So getting those early in the draft is going to be key to progressing, and getting racking up the wins. It's going to be very unlikely in a deep 14 team league with 16 slots, I think, isn't it? So that's what 244 players.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very tough to find production from the waiver wire later on. Right, everyone's going to be drafting the running backs and the handcuffs, and the handcuffs. Jordan James will go at some stage, right? We all know this, and Whereas I find you can probably grab a wide receiver later or two. There's going to be someone who's not drafted who might hit waivers. The same for a quarterback. You might eventually get one off the waiver wire through a starter or two getting injured, right? It's not going to happen for the running backs. So that's why I really love the Jonathan Taylor and the Chase Brown pick. It's very strong. They're durable. They'll go all season long. He's then got Rice and Higgins, who are both wide receiver ones. But Higgins obviously has Chase, but he still has the elite metrics and the production there that he can back it up. So it's very solid. Jaden Daniels could be anything. He could be the QB1 this year. He could be outside the top 12. I think he's very good. The rushing floor is going to be immense. I'm factoring in a massive bounce back season for Sam Laporta. I actually have him as my my tight end 3 this year, behind Bowers and Kyle Pitts. Not trying to contribute. So so it's there. And then I'm a Patriots fan, so I like Ramondre. Ramondre does things that only elite players do. He's very, 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 very good when you look at the underlying metrics, right? There's just other things that don't happen for him that make him seem a little bit pedestrian. So there's a world where it works out for him this year. It pops off. Maybe Henderson gets more run, which I think he will, in which case it kind of pushes Ramondre into a backup role, which probably means less stack boxes for Ramondre, means more rushing room. We see a lot more from him. And then obviously Chris Godwin, I still think is undervalued at the moment. I think he's going to be a bigger factor in the Bucs offense than Ibuka is at the moment, or at least they're going to be a lot closer together.
I can't get there with you, man. I'm sorry, not on the.
That's okay.
I'm one of Godwin's biggest fans, by the way, and for years I've sort of touted him as a player who, you know, he always manages to outperform his ADP every year, right? He's one of these players that on a points per game basis will outperform his ADP every year. 100% believe he'll do that this year. But I think that role that he has, there's 2 problems with the role that he has. One, he doesn't score touchdowns. And this isn't a 1-year problem, it's a 4-year problem. He just doesn't get in the box. So no matter, like, you take away his entire upside because he's never going to get those 6-point touchdowns. So he's going to get you in a good season 5. That's kind of where you're looking at. So he'll have the volume, he'll have the playmaking ability, but he plays that sort of inside slot, middle distance kind of role, and he'll get hurt by Baker doing his Baker things and taking off and the run game. So I think he'll get his. He'll have a nice role carved out for him, but I don't see the ceiling. I just don't see a world where Chris Godwin's a top 24 wide receiver this year, unless Egbuka and McMillan go down. Then all bets are off. But I think Egbuka is the Mike Evans replacement. He's going to get in the box. He's going to have, if you look at his, contested catch rate, you look at where he gets down the field, you look at his targets per route run, yards per route run. That's, he's very much that vertical threat now, which is why, they I wouldn't say happy to let Mike Evans go, but perhaps why they drafted Emeka Egbuka knowing this was a possible outcome.
Yeah,
but we'll see. I mean,
fair.
We'll know soon enough. I think we're going to know soon enough one way or the other. But I just worry about that. I just worry about the ceiling.
Yeah, I don't think the ceiling is there. All right, I just think they'll be closer together than people are expecting, especially looking at the draft. I think.
In this draft, I agree with you. Yeah. I mean, there's 70 picks between them.
Yeah, roughly
something like that. So I definitely think that maybe Egbuka is slightly overvalued and Godwin's undervalued. I could buy that argument. I think that's fair. But I don't know if I every model I look at, I can't see unless Ibuka gets injured, I can't see a world where Ibuka has less fantasy points than Chris Godwin at the end of the season. But that's why we love fantasy football.
Exactly,
We are into the 10th round. It's gone a little bit later than I thought we would, so we might. I think we cut this at maybe 12 rounds, because at that point we're just picking. Because if we go 12 rounds, where are we at? 10, so that'd be 140, 154, 168. Yeah, we got 168 picks. I think that gives people a good view of what's available. That'll be most people's standard drafts. So we'll cut it around 12. Here's a question for you both, and you can't have the same answer. If you were to dump your team
and take someone else's,
team, who would you take?
Well, 11, but I'll give a different answer because we've both spoken about 11 already. So let me have a quick look.
Well, no, it was me. Danny might have a different answer. That's fine. You can take 11. I'll take a different answer, but you can have 11.
I do like your team as well, Murph.
We ignore Murph's team. We don't give him any
exactly. So I was.
Yeah.
I did something very controversial in my team. I did something that I'd recommend nobody ever to do. But I'm sneaky high on the offense. I'm okay with it.
You've taken 2 wide receivers from the same team.
Correct. But they have very different roles.
I nearly took the latter one, but I already had Washington, and for that reason, I didn't take him.
I looked at the players around who were available there, and I just thought, Jacoby's going to give me. They're so stylistically different that they serve very, very different purposes. That it's fine to do so. Yeah. That's kind of my opinion on it, but yeah, it was also the fact that it was getting a bit thin there. Like the only other player I would have taken was Matthew Golden, but I was tempted, but I think because of where I've gone with my wide receivers, I needed a bit of stability. Because I've taken the high upside in Downs. If Downs doesn't produce, I need to have someone I can put in a flex or in a third wide receiver spot.
I think I know which one I would take if I'm trying to debate. There's 2 teams I'm looking at, and they're next to each other in the draft, and I'm seeing the positives of each team, and I can't figure. I'd probably go team 5 because I like the option of McCaffrey and I think Barkley might bounce back this season, and if McCaffrey stayed fit, them 2 alone would cause a lot of damage in this league. And I don't know if that will happen, but I'd be willing to take a punt on it. So I would punt on 5. That 5 strikes me as the type of team that will either finish first or finish about 10th. There's not going to be any middle ground. I don't think they're going to stay fit and play well, or they're not.
Yeah, that's fair. I will say, boys, it's got very thin at running back.
Yeah, it has. That's why I had to take Mason last time, and I didn't even really want him.
It's really thin.
Mason's a good pick, though. I think he'll.
Yeah, I love that pick. I think
it's a good pick.
Yeah, I don't think you can be too unhappy with taking.
I'm getting some eyebrows in the chat for my 3 tight end strategy there.
They should have been at the Scottish.
I'm more puzzled that Mark Andrews was still there, and that you took likely over Mark Andrews.
Yeah, I didn't notice Mark Andrews was still there, so I would have taken him first instead of likely. So I was kind of bought into the Mark Andrews pick when I'd seen he was still there. I didn't ultimately want to go 3 tight ends, but look, Brock Bowers doesn't count as a tight end. He will score as a top 5 wide receiver this year. Yeah, I'm very bullish on Brock Bowers. Isaiah Likely, he's the play for if Neighbors isn't healthy to start the season. Likely is probably the receiving offense, at least initially. Everything's going to get funneled through him. He's going to be the safety blanket. And I can see big upside there. When Neighbours comes back, his role probably drops off, right? Because there's talk that they're going to start pushing targets to Malachi Fields early. And again, that's likely because Neighbours isn't ready. And then the same is true in Baltimore. It's Zay Flowers and who else? Rashad Bateman should have a decent role, right? He's a very good football player. But Mark Andrews now got his contract extension. There's no likely. He's going to see volume. And with what we have on the board at the moment for wide receiver, one or both of them are going to score a lot more fantasy points than what's left on the board. So it's that was the idea.
It's definitely fair. That's definitely fair. We're near the end of round 10, so I'm trying to think where we last caught up with picks. Pollard, Gadsden, J.K. Dobbins, Patrick Mahomes, Matt Stafford, Dak Prescott, Marjorie Stevenson, Blake Corum, Trevor Lawrence, Jackson Dart, Rico Dowdle, Jordan Addison, Jake Ferguson, Chris Godwin, Quentin Johnston, Tyrone Tracy, Rashad White, Josh Downs, Wandale Robinson, Ricky Pearsall, Jaden Reed, Casey Concepcion, Woody Marks, Zach Charbonnet, round 8 to start round 9, Xavier Worthy, Antonio Williams, Jordan Mason, Kenny Gainwell, Aaron Jones, Bill Krosky Merritt, Jacoby Myers, Chris Rodriguez, Romeo Dobbs, Isaiah Likely, Matthew Golden, Brian Robinson, Travis Kelce, Tyler Algier, Jalen Coker, Tajay Spears, Dylan Sampson, Khalil Shakir, Mark Andrews, Kenyon Sadiq, Omar Cooper, Isaiah Pacheco, and then a run of tight ends, TJ Hawkinson, Juwan Johnson, Dallas Goddard, Dalton Kincaid. So we're nearly at 10. We're going to go to 12. So it's 30 picks left. Getting very, very thin. Tight end run is on. There are still two teams without a quarterback. No one has taken 2. Yes, sorry, Matt has taken 2 with Jackson and Trevor Lawrence.
He wants Jennings for this next pick, Eric.
Yeah, just plugged it in there. I have shipped an update while you guys were talking, so you will now see the bye weeks both in the list and on the board, and you will see the positions, so tight end 16, 17, 18, 19 for those last 4 and so on. So if you just refresh, Murph, you'll see it, Control-Shift-R.
Oh. My God,
look at that. Sorted.
Making improvements live.
That was my excuse for being distracted when you asked me that question earlier.
How cool is that? So, we can get that and you've added the flex button. So the flex button is there. The bye weeks are in there. Yeah, that's very cool. How awesome is that, by the way? We're just in the middle of a draft. We've knocked out some. Oh yeah, it'd be cool if it'd have like a flex button and like what number position they've got in their position in the draft, and if you could knock some bye weeks together in the flexes, and it's like, oh yeah, just done. We haven't even finished drafted.
No. And the beauty is that even if people don't refresh, they'll still take part in the draft that we're in. It's, it's just front end flair that we have, so we see the visuals. They won't. But the draft is still happening. Whereas if that was on Sleeper, everyone needs the same update.
Yeah.
Kyler
Murray. He says he can see all the updates, but not the pick button.
Is it something to do with the scrolling or something?
There must be a scroll there, and he's just not noticing he can scroll. I don't know. I can't figure it out because I'm testing it on 2 phones at the same time, and it's working on both of these, and they're 2 completely different phones. So I can't figure it out. I will figure it out though. Don't worry. I'll get there. There's not many problems that I can't figure out, but
right.
While I'm staying engaged here,
Kyler pick here.
There we go.
Danny, who are you going to take? I knew you were going to take Jaden Higgins. Yeah, I knew that's what you were going to do. Cool, I gained it.
Was that who you would have took, is it?
Yeah. That's I mean, it's fine. I was torn between two. So he was who I had over the other one. It's fine. We pivot, we move. I'm all good.
It's one thing I would say is it's definitely focused my mind for that draft tomorrow around the running back side of things. In those first 3 to 4 picks, I don't want to get to a point because we're drafting at the pick where I am at 3, and if I could do it all over again,
you would have taken a second running back faster, wouldn't you?
Yeah, either in pick 2 or 3. I'm not sure if I'd have gone in round 2. I don't know if I'd have gone round 2, but I probably would have took Barkley in 3 before he got to pick 5 potentially. It's just got me thinking about it tomorrow to see if all the running backs start flying off of which approach to go.
In case you're wondering, you didn't go, so I'm taking Jalen McMillan. I'm happy with that. I think it's definitely interesting. You had 13 running backs off the board before that second pick. Now, if I'm honest, I'm not sure that's how it cuts tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I think you will see. I don't think Hampton goes there.
It's a weird.
I think you would see McConkey go before some of these. But yeah, it's going to be tight. I think it's something to definitely watch. It's going to be a fluid situation for sure.
I think because the fact that you start 3 wide receivers, your brain automatically thinks, "Oh, still go wide receivers early because they've got to fill 3." But at the moment, it feels like every draft I'm in, people are going heavy on running backs more than they are on wide receivers, depending on the scoring.
I still think it leans a bit on the position scarcity that people are leaning into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is really interesting. On
Eric, no. Are you a Giants fan by any chance? I forgot to ask you that. Yeah.
No, I'm a Patriots fan.
It's just the fact that feels likely.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just maybe wondering.
Rookie button would be good. Now
there usually is a rookie button.
Please take bye weeks off.
Oh, he can see he's drafted loads of players for week 8.
Yeah, to be fair, so did I. I took all my players for week 8. Just take 1 defeat. It's fine. You just take 1 defeat. I did that one season. There was like a proper bye-mageddon. And I think it was like week 13 or something like that. So my plan was to just basically get into the playoffs before week 13 and then use it as a dead week. And literally that's what happened. And then basically all my players were on bye in a game I didn't need to win. And then,
I've done that a couple of times. Normally early on, get them out the way sometimes. But I don't think it's a bad strategy, to be honest.
No, I don't.
Especially ones like the JTT Cup, because ones where the playoff starts sooner. If you've got all your players off already, and then you've hit the playoffs, and then you've got no bye weeks coming up. Scottish Bowl would be another one for that as well.
Yeah, that's what did me last year. Is all my bye weeks were like late, so I got into the playoffs and I was dead.
Yeah.
So that's why I only got to the quarters last year, I think, because I just didn't have the players.
when you mix her in with injuries as well, yeah, it screws you.
Absolutely. Right, we're going to do the last 16 picks. Yeah. Definitely some really interesting strategies going on now with the quarterbacks flying off the ball, the tight ends. So it's been a really good draft. I think, 153 picks in. We're going to do 168. So it has been really insightful to see how it plays out. Again, I don't think anyone's made a really big boo-boo. I think it's all kind of flowing through really nicely. So we can see here now you've added that data. We have had 64 wide receivers picked. We've had 19 quarterbacks. Wow, I took the last running back. 50 running backs. And it looks like 20 tight ends. 52. Well, I'm 52 just come off the board. It's 52 running backs, 64 wide receivers, 20 tight ends, and 19 core. Seeing Baker at QB 19 and Goff at QB 18 feels wrong, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, I was looking at Brock Purdy. So Liam's first quarterback is Brock Purdy at QB 16. In round 11, which I think is very good value.
I do. But I think in a 14-team league, having that elite QB pays a bit more. I really do. Because I think the difference between the bottom teams in QBs, like Allen's going to be scoring 150 points more.
Yeah.
No, maybe not. Maybe like 130, 120 points. But yeah, it's one to think about for sure. Chig and Quant Crew, last 9 picks. God, it really is thin. I don't think there's many.
Yeah, I think I'll probably.
Alvin Kamara, running back 54. But yeah, it's definitely been an insightful draft. Seeing all these players come off the board now in these final rounds, we're starting to get really thin in terms of some of the players here. As we get into these final picks. Any last thoughts, gentlemen, while we start to think about wrapping this up?
Eric drafted after, I guess. Yeah, I did. Just thank you to everyone who's joined the draft and helped out. Again, it's invaluable insights for me in helping to build and shape this, so I appreciate it. And thanks to Danny and to Murph for having me on. I really appreciate the opportunity. So yeah.
Mate, it's been amazing having you on. This has been really awesome.
He's probably not the only one who thinks that as well. So, I just don't know how the hell he does it all. That's every time I say something to him, and he goes, "Oh yeah, put that in now," or it does this, this, and this. It's got 50 something tools, and I'm just like, I have no clue how he does any of this stuff.
Now again, look, I'm honest about it. I do use AI to help me. I do work in software engineering. AI is a tool. It's like going from using a hammer to put nails in to using like an impact drill. One is just much quicker than the other. That's it. I've been around the fantasy industry, like watching, and wanting to be a part of it for many years. So I have all of that knowledge on what I want to see, how I want to do it, how I want to build it. And then it's just a case of putting it together. So as I said, I have all of the data already. It's just certain lenses needing to be put onto things. And the odd time I might have to build a component that's new, which will take me a little bit longer. But most of the time, I have the stuff already. Like somebody had asked in the chat for rookies to be there. If they refresh, they'll now see the rookie filter as well. So yeah, refresh, it's there. So yeah, that's fixed. And because I already have that somewhere else, I can copy and paste it in. For example, Ryan having the issue with the Chromebook, that takes me deeper to find and try and fix and figure something out for that one. It'll probably take me longer to do that. That might actually cost me half the night. So some things might seem like I'm doing it really quickly and it's genius level stuff, but I'm pretty much just copying something and putting it somewhere else. You know, I have multiple uses for many things is the thing.
The one that's jumping out at me at the moment is around, especially if people are listening and they've never used it at all, of how to, I don't know, what the easiest way to show them that, you know, like some sort of guide or something that shows them, okay, to do that, not just what it does, but how do you actually do it, I think could be handy for some people, because some people might look at this and go, oh my God, there's so much stuff in there.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I'm terrible at marketing, right? That's so I get called scary genius or whatever.
I was about to take digs.
I've got bad luck and I've got terrible marketing skills and advertising skills. So I do understand that I do need to get some form of how-to guides and videos and stuff out. They're just long finger. I would rather ship a new feature and a new update and stay current and make the app better than do that. But I do understand that that's what's not helping me grow the user base. So I do need to pivot at some stage. But when people stop asking for features, Danny, I'll get some time to.
You know Murph now, so that's never going to stop.
I'll get some time
that's
to
half
actually
the
do
problem.
some
You know
stuff.
me, but I'm happy to do some videos for you. I've got set up here, so we can do some short form stuff. We can work that out for sure. That won't be a problem. We'll help.
But as I said, the command palette is there, the Control and K or Command and K on Mac. Use that, type in whatever it is you think you're looking for. It will show you what we have that's close. You don't need to search. You can actually just type. So if you type in the defense, it will show you the defensive personnel schemes. It will show you IDP. It will show you anywhere that word defense is used within the tool.
Amazing. Look at that.
And that will help you jump to a different section. And everything is pretty self-explanatory. I built it so that there shouldn't be a learning curve. The hardest part about the tool is, it's there, or you can access it just through a quick command and stuff, and it works on mobile as well. The hardest part, I think, of using the tool is that there's so much and it can be overwhelming as to where to go. So it's, again, I just encourage anyone, just go to Tradyr.app and click things. You can't break anything. I'm not looking for any information from you. It doesn't cost anything. Nothing will happen. You'll just browse around. You might waste some time, but that's the worst that can happen. Or you might gain some valuable insights somewhere, and it will help you along. Oh, Ryan probably needs a pick.
Yeah, we're just finishing up here. 2 picks to go. I'm going to rattle through the last several picks here. Juwan Jennings, Brenton Strange ended round 10. Then you had Rashid Shaheed, Kyler Murray, Jaden Higgins, Jordan Love, Brock Purdy, Zachariah Branch, Jalen McMillan, Bo Nix, Jared Goff, Malachi Fields, Jalen Naylor, Baker Mayfield, Travis Hunter, Ollie Gordon, Marshawn Lloyd, Mike Washington, Chico Kwankru, Alvin Kamara, Cam Ward, Cooper Kupp, Eli Stowers, Denzel Boston, Tua Tagovailoa. I knew that Owls could take Tua. Stephon Diggs, Isaac Tesla, Tyler Shook, K. Dotton, and Mr. Irrelevant, wide receiver 69, nice, Jerry Jeudy. Yeah, I know, felt like I could help you market it. Yeah, definitely. Do the Speed Awesome. Tell people where they can interact with you, where they can find you, where they can pepper you with feature requests for Tradyr and answer some of these questions.
Yeah, you can send everything to Murph. He'll come to me. Now you can find me on Twitter, X, or refuse to call it X, but on Twitter, it's at Eric_Nelson__. I do also have an account for Tradyr, but I've decided not to use it. I already have friends from the fantasy space that follow me, so I thought that was just better to use my own name. So I'm just going to keep everything there. There is a feedback button on the tool. It's the bottom right icon. If you click that, it will send me an email. It will pull in whatever feature you're currently looking at as a base to tell me where you are. It gives me information as to kind of what device and stuff you're using, so you can send feature requests or bugs and stuff there, or ask questions. As I said, you'll see me around. So
absolutely, mate, this has been incredible. I think the feedback you've got has been enormous. We're going to clip this out. We're going to make it available on short so people can see this. I just updated the banner that we hit 4,000. I'm blown away with everyone's generosity. We're easing ever so closer to a huge lifetime milestone. A few £100 off it now, so please keep donating. We're going to be opening our listener leagues next week. We might even host a couple of them on on Sleeper. Eric, I think it'll be on Tradyr, not Sleeper. We'll do a few on Sleeper, because if I move everything off Sleeper, I'll get lynched. But I think we should definitely do a few on Tradyr. Definitely some cool formats, so we'll talk about that. If you've been listening to us for the whole 2 hours and haven't hit the subscribe button, what have you been doing? Please do hit the subscribe button, hit the notification. Next time we'll be live. We'll be live next week, doing something else really different and unique, because that pretty much is the niche of this channel, to do something that nobody else is doing. Eric, thank you so much, my man. This was honestly a really cool experience to watch live updates of an app live, and to do this. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think the general feedback was overwhelmingly positive, and I think this is something that really can help enhance the fantasy experience even more. So we're going to get it out, and the more people, we're going to spread the love and spread the word. So appreciate you, my man, and appreciate you hanging with us and doing this.
Yeah, thank you again for having me on. I really, really appreciate it. Yeah, just a little bit more notice next time, and I'll make sure I don't have any bugs live on the stream, and we'll get it sorted.
That's my bad. We'll get you back in a couple of weeks for sure, and do that. Danny, any final thoughts?
Enjoy your Orkney Bowl drafts from Monday. Enjoy your Tower drafts tomorrow. Anyone who's did all those other drafts, so many cool ones happening this week. So enjoy your weekends and next week's drafting. And yeah, nothing much else from me, really.
Absolutely. Join the Tradyr revolution. Get on the ground floor early. Influence the app, because it's going to take over the world. Arsenal are Premier League champions. And until next week, don't forget, as always, keep rushing.
Hey everyone, Scott Hansen here from NFL Red Zone. I hope you're checking out 1 hour of 5 Yard Rush, one of the best podcasts on NFL football in the